Hello friends, welcome to Mentor Fluent YouTube channel. Audiobook summary of 101 all-time great stories. Episode 1. In ancient India, there were many kings fabled for their prowess in battle, their military might or their integrity, but there were very few known to have attained the sublime heights of spirituality. One such exceptional king was Janaka, the ruler of Mithila. He was the father of Sita, a woman of many virtues and Lord Rama's wife in the epic Ramayana, a much revered Indian scripture. A fervent seeker of truth from a young age, King Janaka was fond of hosting lengthy discussions on spirituality and religion in his court, which could continue throughout the day. These discussions were attended by a number of famed religious scholars of the kingdom and wandering ascetics who held the king in high regard. These discussions were generally followed by dinner, after which the king would retire to his chamber for a peaceful sleep, feeling contented at having learned something new about religion and spirituality during the day. However, one night, Janaka's sleep was disturbed by a very strange dream. He saw that a powerful emperor had invaded his kingdom, causing widespread devastation. To escape certain death in battle, Janaka had to retreat deep into the forest. He was lonely and exhausted after the battle, and the consequent escape to save his life had only added to his fatigue. Standing in the middle of the dense forest, he was now gasping for breath. Soon he found himself sinking into an abyss of depression at having lost the gruesome battle. As if that was not enough, the pangs of hunger further aggravated his misery. For several days, Janaka continued to roam aimlessly in the dense forest, finding nothing to eat. In all these days, he was not the verge of dying of starvation. Fortunately, one day, a man passing through the forest saw Janaka lying under a tree in a pitiable condition with his spine curved and legs folded, touching his chin. The man had to clue that this wretched man in front of him was the famed King Janaka. He looked pity on him and offered him a piece of bread. For Janaka, it was nothing short of a blessing. He immediately sat up and hungrily grabbed the bread, thanking the man profusely with folded hand. He was just about to eat the bread when suddenly a large crow appeared out of nowhere, snatched the bread from his hand and flew away. It was the only morsel of food that he had received after all these days, and it had been snatched away by his hands. That was the last straw of Janaka. That was the last straw for Janaka. He lost his composure and let out an ear-splitting scream. And the moment he screamed, Janaka woke up with a start, drenched in sweat, only to find himself in his royal bed in his own palace. Momentarily numbed by the dream, Janaka, who was spiritually inclined, had developed the habit of analyzing all his experiences and learning his lessons from them. Reflecting upon his strange dream, he thought, while dreaming, I was actually fast asleep in bed, but my mind was totally lost in the forest. While escaping into the forest, I was certainly running to save my life. The crow had definitely swore the crow had definitely swooped down on me and snatched my bread away. And there is no doubt that I had screamed out aloud and was drenched in sweat. So, what was I really doing at that moment? Was I fast asleep on my bed, or was I wandering in the forest after being defeated in battle? Which of the two situations was the reality? Indubitably, his query was genuine, but the answer eluded him. Janka from the very moment became obsessed with finding the answer to this question. He forgot his responsibility towards his kingdom, family, and everything else. In his quest to discover the truth, Janka convened numerous assemblies and also invited scholars from far and wide to provide an answer. But to no avail, his restlessness and anxiety became a matter of serious concern for everyone around him, including his family and council of ministers. Several physicians were called to cure his conditions, but their efforts were rendered futile. Highly distinguished religious scholars of that time, too, couldn't provide a satisfactory answer to Janka's query. As the news of Janka's quest spread far and wide, it soon reached the wisest sage of that time, Astavakra, who immediately set out to meet Janka as soon as the sage presented himself in the court. The king immediately posed his query. Astavakra smiled and replied in a gentle, calm tone, Your Majesty, your defeat in battle and wandering in the forest in your dream was not the reality, and your presence in your royal chamber was not real either. Janka was bewildered on hearing such a strange reply, for some scholars whom he had consulted earlier had declared that the first state was the reality, while others had opined that the second state was the real one. But there was sage Astavakra asserting that none of the two states were real. However, considering that Janka had been in such a confused and listless state for his many days, his bewilderment at Astavakra's reply was at least indicative of his alertness and his intellect functioning as sharply as ever. Truly, that was an achievement in itself. Even as the king tried to comprehend what the sage had said, Astavakra elaborated upon his earlier remark. When you were dreaming of wandering in the forest, you were physically present in your palace, which means your wandering in the forest were not real. Similarly, through you were physically presented in your palace. You were physically present in your palace. Your mind was wandering in the forest. Therefore, your presence in the chamber was not real either. Convinced by Astavakra's explanation, Janka's curiosity was fueled up even further. He asked the sage, if none of the two states were real, then what is real? Astavakra looked deep into Janka's eyes and replied, What is real is the witness within you who was watching both these states unfold. He was watching when you were in your bed and dreaming, and he was also watching when you were wandering in the forest in your dream. But this witness was totally detached from both the states. Astavakra's enlightenment Astavakra's enlightening reply hit Janka like a thunderbolt. He felt he had found he had found a new direction in life and made it his life's mission to realize the witness within him at any cost. Eventually, Janka became Astavakra's student and under the sage's guidance realized the witness within himself. The series of enlightening discussions between Astavakra and Janka, which led to this realization, is famously known today as the Atavakragita. Model: we too will have to stoke the fire of curiosity within ourselves in order to elevate our minds to the highest level. Gradually, we will have to awaken our sense of being the witness. If not completely, then at least partially, when we'll have to understand that not only happiness, sorrow, the vicissitudes of life, materials, objects, relatives, friends, and foes, but even our ever changing emotions are not our own. We are only a witness to all of them. None of them belong to us. Therefore, the fact is, no even our incident or the outside or within us can ever influence us. See you in next episode. Thank you so much.